Hi everyone, welcome to this webinar on CCH and getting the most out of your integration. My name is Ken Byrne. I'm one of the account managers here at Virtual Cabinet, and as you can see, I'm stood in front of our new building that we're moving into in April. I did have another picture on there. It looked like I was stood outside a prison, so I'm gonna put a much nicer picture on there. Okay, so we'll get started. So just a little bit of housekeeping before we start. There's a couple more people to log on, but I think we'll just get going. If you have any questions or anything, stick them in the question box as we go through, because everyone will be on mute. If you can just put a note down to say hi that you can hear me, that'd be great, because otherwise it feels like I'm talking to no one. And also, after this webinar, please check what version of Virtual Cabinet you're on. As you know, it's free to upgrade. We're currently just released version 4.3. And some of the things I'm showing you today are actually only available on 4.3. The last bit is if you want or see anything through the webinar that you're interested in, just stick a note in the chat box or question box, etc., and we'll get back to you as well. We record all those, so we can do it. Okay, this is the agenda for today. I want to cover everything we can possibly do with CCH and Virtual Cabinet. And so you can see everything that's there. About points 1 to 4 you should have as your basic integration, but one of the reasons we set up this webinar is that after visiting a few clients and talking to some people, we discovered people are only using bits of it, so we thought we'd put everything in one place. And then the points 5 to 10 are other stuff you can do. The reason we have all these down here is it is from us seeing clients like ourselves develop the integration and really seeing best practice to be used in the marketplace of how you can get the most out of your investment in Virtual Cabinet or whatever. The first bit should be fairly straightforward. We call it intelligent indexing. Most people just know it as the chevrons that appear in Virtual Cabinet. What this means is when you're typing in a client name or a client code, we look up your CCH, we look up that client name and return the client name, client code to you. So as you're typing in the client name like Ken, it'll return back all the Kens and it'll find the right one for you. So that's a live lookup from your CCH. The real positive advantage on that, obviously, is you keep your CCH database up to date, and then Virtual Cabinet follows in the background. But there are other things we can do behind just that, and we can do things like a portal integration, and we can also develop document creation for you or letter creation, and also some of the enhancements and the other things we can do later on all hang off those as well. So while they're really useful to use on a day-to-day basis, there is other things we can do off the back of it, which I'll cover a little bit later on. Someone just asked about email capture. I'm actually going to cover it in just a couple of slides, so we'll cover it then. Thank you. The second part of virtual integration, the second part is virtual integration. I did a quick video on this for the CCH integration. Really, you're in CCH, you're at a client like John Smith, and at the bottom you'll see Virtual Cabinet Search. And when you click on that, it goes into Virtual Cabinet, returns all the documents on that specific client, like John Smith. Just a point to note, you may not have that Virtual Cabinet button at the bottom of your screen with CCH. You might use the magnifying glass. So it just depends on your structure or IT structure within your organization of how you will get there. But either way, you should be able to do it. So you're in a client, working on a client, etc. You want to see his documents, you click on the button and it brings open up Virtual Cabinet behind you. The reason we build that in there is like from a day-to-day kind of business use case, it's really useful that you're in there, you're on the client, you want to say, oh, I wonder if someone has done that document, or where is that thing. You can just click on a button and it brings it back to you as well. Of course, you can turn off your CCH integration or just drop it down, open up your Virtual Cabinet and do the search again and find it that way. It just depends on how you work. But again, that's people find that as a really useful solution. Both those everyone should have. I'm not seeing any negative comments going, oh, why don't I have it? So we're okay so far. Oh, let me just jump to the next slide. Now, email capture. I should have said right at the start, but I'll say it now. I can't spend a lot of time on any of these topics. So this webinar is really just designed to show you best practice, what's out there, how you can use Virtual Cabinet with your CCH. And if you want any more details, just come back to us, put a note there in the question box and say, hey, I'm interested in whatever, and then we'll come back to you a little bit more, because we just can't spend, if I spend the time doing email capture, the whole webinar will be gone, and I want to try and get this done in about half an hour. So there's two types of email capture we have. One is fully automatic email capture, and that's basically when an email comes into your Microsoft Office 365 or to your Exchange. We look at the email address, we look in CCH and say, do those email addresses match up? If they do, we save that email in a general correspondence file in Virtual Cabinet. And we can do that, or we can do it with the subject line, or we can mix and match and do both. So basically, if you put the client code in the subject line in square brackets, the client replies, when it comes back in, we take that client code, we compare it to CCH, we pick up the email address, and we file it in. And that works really well. And I would say in the marketplace itself, it's about, it used to be 70–80% used that system. I'd say it's now kind of around 40% of clients still use that automatic email capture. It has advantages and disadvantages. They're both the same. The advantage is it captures every email that goes into your organization. The disadvantage is it captures every email that goes into your organization. So while you'll capture really important stuff, you'll also capture, should we meet at 3 o'clock? No, let's make it 2 o'clock. Hey, I'm delayed, etc. All those other emails get captured as well, and it all gets put in one place, just called correspondence. Okay, so while that works, and it works well, what we did is we've developed something else, and we've developed what we call semi-automated email capture. And really what it is we put you as the user as the intelligent interface to looking at your email, going, do I need to save this email? Do I not need to save this email? Does this email contain really decent information? I need to save it. Or perhaps a client's just sent you an email and says, here it is. You don't really want to save the email, but you want to save the attachments to it. So all those kind of bits you can do with the semi-automated email capture. And actually, it's probably easier to show you a screen grab on it. Just while I'm here, if you see it on the bottom, there is a recorded webinar specifically on email capture. So if you are interested in it, you don't have to take that down now, just drop us a quick email and we can, I drop a note in the question box and we can send it to you as well. So you can see this in much more depth. So this is the email capture. We have an index pane that sits in your Outlook. And it does a couple of functions. So first of all, if I was writing this email from scratch, it can automatically fill in the indexing information on the right hand side. For instance, get your free print sample kit is the description of the email. You can change that if you wish, so it automatically pulls that across. You could type in the client name and client code, and this is where I was talking about earlier on. We go back into CCH and pull that information across. We can automatically put on today's date. We can basically default a lot of those settings, so there's not very much to do to save that email. And then on top of that, we have a conversation rule. So when you file the first email in this thread, then when a client replies back to you, every subsequent email gets saved in. And you've got control of that. So if those emails going back and forward are relevant and you're saving them into Virtual Cabinet, that's fantastic. And if they're not relevant and you're thinking, okay, I don't need to save it, you can untick the conversation rule and stop those emails being saved in. And then as you start to use the system, it only takes probably a month and a half to start using it, where the system, Virtual Cabinet, learns where you typically save emails. So for this client, he's got 3 businesses with me, and I typically save his emails in those 3 businesses. And what we do is we start to offer suggestions. We say, actually, the most common place where you save emails from Brian is in Cameron Distribution. The second most common place is ABC Limited, and the third most common place is Ace Concrete Limited. If I was to click on any of those, all this indexing information is filled in because you filled it in before, and we've learned how you do that. So as you start to use the system, it's actually very, very quick and simple. If a client sends you a fresh email, you click on one button and it will fill in all the indexing information. Thanks for your questions. I can see a few people asking questions. We're going to handle those questions afterwards, because as I said, I want to give you kind of this high-level overview of how Virtual Cabinet and CCH works, best practice, etc. And I can't get into very much specifics. Sorry, I hate ignoring questions as we go through. Sorry, one question's come in, and I will answer it now. Is yes, this webinar is recorded. We will send a link to the recording out to everyone who's attended, and we'll also it's also available as well. So if you want to share it around with your colleagues, etc., that's fine. Just wait till the end. Just drop us a note, but we can send that to you as a matter of course. We did this webinar yesterday and today, so we'll probably kind of edit it together on Friday and send it out maybe early next week. The last part of the CCH integration is we call it CC print. You don't really need to know what it means. But basically, you create common documents in CCH that you want to save automatically into virtual cabinet, and we can do it. So documents like SA100s or tax computations or tax returns or schedules or those kind of things, CT600, all those kind of documents that you produce in CCH, we can automatically index into virtual cabinet. So typically with the CCH integration, you would click export once you create the document, save as PDF, and you drop it into a watch folder, and then the magic happens and it's indexed into virtual cabinet against the client in the correct place with the correct name, etc. And then we do that for common documents. There's not really much point doing it for less commonly created documents, because you can use the hot folder, save it in, or some other way, rather than having to automate it. But if there are documents that you're creating on a regular basis and that aren't automatically saved in virtual cabinet, you can come and talk to us. We can set it up for you, or we can show you how to do it yourselves, and we can work that way with you as well. So these points up till now are pretty much what you should have as part of your CCH integration. From this point on, it really will be other stuff that you could do. And I would say a lot of the clients out there either aren't aware they can do it, or maybe they've reviewed it and not actually implemented it yet. So let's go through that as well. So part of this is just to say that we have a secure portal within Virtual Cabinet. It's a document portal. We're designed to do basically three things, which is share documents with your clients, obtain electronic signatures on documents with your clients, and also for clients to share documents back with you as well. Okay. By the way, as I said it at the start, if I'm going to show you some of this stuff in the next slide, you have to be on at least 4.2 in terms of version of Virtual Cabinet, and actually you really need to be on 4.3 to be able to take advantage of everything that I'm going to show you here. So that's what our portal does. We were the first, Virtual Cabinet were the first document management company to have an integrated portal, and it's fully integrated in Virtual Cabinet. That means if the document's in Virtual Cabinet, you can right click and you can publish. As you go to publish, we can look up CCH for the client name and return the client name and the current email address, whatever. But also, if it's not a client of yours just yet, you can manually type the name in as well. Okay, there's a couple of questions come in, and I might as well answer them now while we're here. So I'll just jump onto the next slide so you give you something to look at, and then I'll talk. So the portal is charged on a per publisher basis. So it gives you the ability to, we charge you a fixed cost for the month, for that per month, per year, for that publisher to be able to publish. That publisher can publish unlimited amount of documents to unlimited amount of email addresses, which means unlimited amount of people. We don't restrict you on that, we just give you the ability to publish, so it's priced in a slightly different way. So some of the things we've built into Portal over the last while, and some you can see them in the new stuff as well. So there's an auto retract. So when you're taking a document from Virtual Cabinet, you're actually taking a copy of the document, publishing to the portal. You can set a global retraction policy for your organization that will say, I will leave that document there for a year, 2 years, 6 months, whatever you choose. And you can also have an optional override if you wish. So if I'm publishing a document to someone and go, actually, I know they're desperate to sign it, they don't need to see it again, I can put it on as 2 weeks. Or maybe it's a document go, well, actually, they may need to refer to back to that in a year or some years to come, and I could leave it up there for 3 years. So you can have that balance as well. We can also group publish, which means you can take a document and send it like a set of accounts to a set of directors, and you can publish that to each individual director and ask for a signature, and you get 3 documents back, each have signed. Or you can send it to all the 3 directors at once, and you can wait till the 3rd person has signed it before you get it back fully signed, all done electronically within Virtual Cabinet via the secure portal. Messaging, which I'll show you on the next slide, is new, and this allows your client to now securely message you via the portal as well. So where it came from is if we send a document to a client and the client said, oh, actually, is that figure correct? I'm not quite sure. How do they communicate back to you? Well, they have to get out of the portal, drop you an email, or pick up the phone and call you, or however else they're going to communicate with you. Now we're bringing all that communication back inside Virtual Cabinet, where you publish a document to someone and they can look at it and they can actually message you via the portal. Hey, Ken, are you sure you got that figure correct? And I can write back to them, yeah, I double checked it. It's what we agreed. And they go, that's absolutely fine. And now I'll sign the document, all done securely. So rather than just looking as we are as a document management system, we've now got an interface for you to communicate with your clients and actually not just share documents with them, but actually communicate with them as well via the portal. As I said, you need to be on 4.2 or later to be able to take advantage of that. Auto publishing, I've got a slide on to show you that what that means, and I haven't got a slide on it, but multiple branding is now available. So if you have various different arms or bits to your business, so you might have an insolvency arm, you might be an accountant, you might be financial services, you might be in manufacturing, and you've got 2 brands, etc. You can now, using the same portal, publish to your various set of clients with that branding involved in that as well. So multiple branding is now available in 4.3. And literally how it works is, as you go to publish a document, I'll just go to the next slide, as you go to publish a document, when you hit publish, it says which brand do you want to publish under. You can default to one brand, but maybe you want to pick a different brand for each one. As I said, there's lots of questions, etc. I can't demo everything that people are asking about because there is just no way. This will go on for 2 or 3 hours, and I think everyone will be sick of it. So again, I'm just going to talk about this, show you a few screen grabs, and we've recorded your questions, and then we can come back and maybe we can do demos later on to individuals or groups of individuals if you want to see it. So this is just an example of the messaging within the portal. So I publish a document, put a note on it, the clients come back and actually not specifically ask me about the document, but ask me about a meeting, etc., and I can securely message back and forward in the portal. All these messages form part of the audit trail of the document. So when you retract that document, in the audit trail is all the messaging. So again, it's not only just that you're messaging nicely to the client, you're now recording those messages inside Virtual Cabinet. So if you think about Virtual Cabinet as a whole, we're a document management system. Every single document in your organization, be it client facing directly developed from CCH or a document produced from any other system, should be stored in Virtual Cabinet, and you have a full audit trail of those documents, of any communication that went around those documents. You've saved your emails in there as well, and it becomes a really powerful tool for you to manage what's going on in your organization. The last bit on our portal is basically an auto publishing. So we have now an auto publishing function within the portal. Basically, you create a document or a set of documents outside Virtual Cabinet. Doesn't matter if you create them in CCH, doesn't matter if you create them somewhere else, doesn't really matter. What we can do is take those documents, we can automatically index them into Virtual Cabinet. So the really important point to know, I know this is about CCH and Virtual Cabinet, I mentioned documents produced in CCH, we can automatically index it into Virtual Cabinet. If you're using any other system that produces documents that you need to save, come and talk to us, because we may be able to automatically save those into Virtual Cabinet too. So if you're using any other system, it doesn't have to be just CCH. We can look at it, we can see how you're producing the documents. If we can look into the system and go, actually, we can look at the document itself and find indexing information. We look at the document itself and find a unique identifier and look back at another practice management system, CCH or whatever else you're using, to see, okay, I know who that client is, or whatever. We can actually do it and save it into Virtual Cabinet. Beyond that, we can actually save it into Virtual Cabinet and automatically publish the document and automatically add a note and automatically ask for a signature as well. And so we can do all that as well. So look around your business, see if those kind of anything rings true or rings that looks interesting to you. Come back and talk to us and we can help you with that. I can't show you all the different methods. We've got about at least 3 different methods of being able to achieve what I'm talking about here. So it's really down to how you want to do it, what your environment looks like, and then how we can set it up for you. And I've called this part CCH Integration Plus. And really what's happened here is we've gone out to the marketplace, we've talked to clients, especially clients using CCH, and they've told us their bugbears and say, well, actually, you know, Virtual Cabinet is great, but I have to carry out this admin function, or I have to carry out, you know, this other thing. And so we've built extra bits into the CCH integration. Now, what has happened in the marketplace is we've probably gone into clients who've been with us for years, and we set up your CCH integration many years ago, and then we've never got back to you. So by the way, we can do all these things. So this is our first bit to say, actually, we can do all these things. So you may have the CCH integration, but you may not have these. First one's really simple to explain. It's a client rename. So basically, if someone gets married or divorced, if someone changes their company name from limited to LLP to limited or whatever, you change that in CCH, and we automatically reflect that in Virtual Cabinet. So we watch it, and when you change the name in CCH, Virtual Cabinet itself goes in, takes all the documents and re-indexes them to the new name. So it keeps your CCH system clean and it keeps your Virtual Cabinet system clean as well. and we can set that up for you. The other one works very similarly. If you mark a client as ex-client, and I don't mind how you mark your clients as ex-client, everyone seems to do it slightly differently and slightly differently across all the different practice management systems. But when you mark a client as ex-client, we then take the documents, we create a new cabinet called the ex-client cabinet, and we move all the clients into there. What that means is, as you're doing your search day to day, you're not seeing ex-clients in your searches, which is great. But also, later on, we can apply a separate document retention policy against those ex-clients. And the last bit we do on this kind of thing is we make a prospect cabinet. And again, this came from the marketplace. This is best practice. Basically, people say, actually, I go out, I see someone, they give me some documents. What do I do with them? Do I save them on my emails, or dump them on the S drive, or save them on my desktop? All GDPR terrible ways of doing things. So we make a prospect cabinet, and you can put the documents in there. Later on, if the client becomes an actual client, you set them up properly in CCH, you do all your anti-money laundering checks and all that kind of stuff, and then you take the documents you have and you re-index them against a new client name, client code in CCH. But also, if the client doesn't become a client, you've kept them in a secure place, and you can apply a document retention policy against them too, and say after 9 months or 12 months or 2 years or whatever, we should not be keeping those documents because this client is not a client of ours, and you can get rid of them. So again, it just builds into this ability to manage your documents and your data effectively. The other thing we can do with CCH, we sometimes call it document creation. I prefer automatic letter creation. Now I realize you can do this within CCH too, and if you do, great, and you don't need to do anything. But just be aware, you can also do some of this within Virtual Cabinet. So you store your template or multiple templates within Virtual Cabinet. As you open it, you're prompted to say, actually put in the client name, etc. We go to CCH, we pulled all the information back, current address and all those kind of things, and then we create the document. The great thing is it's indexed to Virtual Cabinet in the correct place with the correct indexing information, and it's version 1 of the document. And if you use tasks within Virtual Cabinet, I might create the letter, send it to one of the directors and say, hey, I've created this letter, can you please take a look at it? In that task, he can approve it, he can reject it and say, actually, Ken, change this paragraph or edit it himself, whatever you want to do, comes back to me. Eventually, when it's done, the last step would be actually now go and publish it to the portal, and I can right click and actually publish it to the portal. All done within a secure environment with version control, all done in an audited way, with the audit templates there, so you can actually gather and understand everything that's happened to that document. So you may do that in CCH, and you may do a version of it. You can also do it in Virtual Cabinet. What a lot of clients come to us and say is, oh yeah, there's lots of stuff we do in CCH, but actually I have someone else over there who actually writes the letters for our invoices, and they do it manually. They look up an old invoice and they right click and duplicate it and do it again. But then they have to check within CCH, is this the right name? Have the person's address changed? You can get rid of all that, and you can always be using the relevant information using the letter creation module. So again, we can set that up for you if there's an interest for you from you. Now, I want to talk about our VC Go, our mobile app. Okay, we launched this probably only about a month and a half, 2 months ago, and you might have seen within Virtual Cabinet we've done a lot of releases in quite a short space of time. Most of those releases are giving us the ability to do more and more with the app. Okay, so now in the app you can work mobile. You can look in your in tray, you look in other people's in trays, you can search for documents, you can share documents within Virtual Cabinet, and you can approve tasks, all done from a mobile device. Okay, good question. I should have said it. It works on Apple devices, so iOS. It works on Android, and it works on the Microsoft Windows version, so you can actually have it on your laptop as well. It's really quick and really easy. I'm demoing this all the time now, where I just literally take it out of my pocket. Wherever I am in the country, I can click on the button, open it, and actually look at documents within my Virtual Cabinet based here in Cambridge, in Sawston. Okay, I've done a little video, I'm going to just jump at the start a little bit, just to show you how it works. So when you open the app, first of all, you look at the last 10 documents you viewed. I'm just going to jump back a tiny bit. And if you click on the policy renewal letter, it actually goes in. This is all shot in real time, by the way, so there's no kind of smoke and mirrors. You can go along and you can see the document. If you want to see more information on it, you can click on the I, which actually tells you the indexing information, who indexed it, and that kind of stuff. And if you click on the share button at the bottom, you could actually share that with someone. So you could be sat with a client. They said, oh, actually, can I have a copy of that document? You go, yeah, I'll give it to you. So that's your last 10 documents that you've viewed. Also, you can look in your in tray. So again, if you can do a search. So in this case, we'll look at a search. We'll go into my client cabinet and we'll type in a name like Ken at the top, and then we'll look and find his documents. This top bar here is the same as the top bar within Virtual Cabinet. It's a very broad search. We can go and find documents quite easily. And again, you want to go and click on one of the documents and actually look in detail with it. And you can go along and click on it, and again it goes to Virtual Cabinet and pulls it back. And we cache the documents in your device for 24 hours or so, which means that you can actually, I'm just going to pause for a second, which means that when you go to look at the document again, it's there and it's very immediate. And in this case, we can go up and look, you can set various different ways to search for documents, whatever suits you the best, which allows you to kind of refine how you search for documents and how you look for documents within the app itself. Oh, seems to stop running. There we go. So as I said, yes, you can set what you'd like to search on. Do you want to search on client codes, or do you want to search on certain specific documents, etc.? You can go along and again go on searching them. And then the final bit. So again, here it's showing you that you can actually say, oh, I just want to see the documents of the last 30 days, last 90 days, or forever, or ones that are modified whenever they're modified, and that kind of stuff. So it narrows your search down from the app itself. Now also, we can look in your in tray. So again, if you've got a post process where someone puts post in your in tray, you can go along and see actually what is that post. I'm going to open up a JPEG here and say, okay, if someone sent me a picture for an insurance claim for the insurance market, etc. You can also look in other people's in trays as well, and you can go along and say, okay, what's happening in part of a group in tray, or what's in my in tray, and that kind of things. And the last part you can do on the go, out on the road, is the app. Is the tasks within the app. So what tasks allow you to do is, if someone sent you a task and said, hey, can you approve this, can you not approve this, on your phone, you can say yes. So if someone's sent you a document, you're the last person in the chain, and you go, oh, I need to see that document. Yeah, everything looks fine. I can approve it and say, click action and go, yep, everything looks good. Off you go. And then people in the office carry on with the work. And again, done from your mobile device, done from your iPad or iPhone or your Android device. And also, you've got all the actions that you would have within Virtual Cabinet. So you can reject tasks, you can allocate them to someone else, maybe you can change the time on them or whatever. And there are settings at the back of the app that allow you to do various different stuff. So just to kind of sum up, we're now giving you complete mobility within Virtual Cabinet. So Virtual Cabinet in the office, you've got the full suite of products and things you can do with things, which is like edit documents and move documents around. Oh, it's just started to run again for some reason. But also, not only do you do that, we're now putting Virtual Cabinet in your pocket. You're out and about with a client, he says, oh, I'd actually like to see last year's tax return. You can go along and find it on your iPad device, really easy. You can share it with them, you can see it. So all those kind of things, we've now taken Virtual Cabinet and put it in your pocket and let you be completely mobile with it as well, along with carrying out important functions that you need to do. We're almost drawing to an end, and we're probably 5 minutes over time, so not too bad. I have mentioned document retention before within the webinar, but just specifically to talk about it here, there are two functions now within Virtual Cabinet. One is a destroy function. So you can turn that on. I recommend only very senior people who really know what they're doing, you turn it on for, and that allows them to destroy a document. Destroy means destroy. It takes away that document, previous versions of a document is no longer recovered, and it covers you for GDPR. Also, as a side thing, if you're in a hosted environment, it actually clears up space in your server. Delete doesn't actually delete the document, and it just takes it away from the main view, but destroy does mean destroy. But you can set up a document retention policy. So you've all probably written your document retention policies because of GDPR. We can now take those policies and apply them inside Virtual Cabinet. So there's a couple of things we do. We can set up different cabinets for you. So if you look at the VC enhancements part, we can set up an archiving cabinet. So 7-year-old documents all get moved into there. So that keeps your searching nice and neat because you're only seeing relevant documents, etc. As we start to do that, clients get back to us from the marketplace and said, actually, I'd really like to only see the last 2 years or the last 3 years of documents when I do a search, because that's pretty much relevant to 90% of the work that most people do. We go, okay, so we set up a semi-archive cabinet. So your main client cabinet only holds 2 or 3 years worth of documents. Your archive holds 3 years to almost 7 years. And then your archive cabinet holds 7 years. So you can split up your virtual cabinet that way. Also, what it really does very nicely is then allows you to apply document retention policy to the various different cabinets. Ex-clients, dead easy. These clients, we no longer represent them. We no longer need to keep certain documents, and we can destroy them after 7 years. It's fully customizable, and it works on every index or indices within virtual cabinet. So if you've got permanent documents that you never want to get rid of, you can say, okay, I want to destroy everything except the permanent documents. So you can mix and match all the way through. Okay, so it's all there, and that we set that up for you. It just runs in the background, and all the documents, your whole GDPR compliance is taken care of, and you're completely covered all the way through. The full business solution is kind of my personal bugbear. I go to clients using virtual cabinet really well, using with CCH or whatever else, they use it really well. And then I say, well, what about what's on your servers? And they go, oh yeah, well, I got a HR cabinet that only such and such has on the server. And we do payroll and we save all those on the server. And all our directors have a special bit in the server. You go, why don't you put all that inside virtual cabinet? We can give the security that you require to make sure that those only certain people see those documents. But also you've got your full abilities within virtual cabinet. So you put a document there, you never lose it again. We build a structure completely different to your client structure, but we build a structure that's relevant to you to be able to save those documents. And with HR, some of the big sites that we have, actually when they recruit a new person, they use the portal to send out the contract of employment to new clients. Also, on our some sites as well, when a new person starts, they actually start a task that goes to IT and says to IT, this person is starting on this date, make sure they got a computer and they got access to the various different bits of software. All that happens as well. So you got your company files there. Even something as basic as invoices that you send out to client. Every single business creates an invoice because every single business charges someone else money, and those invoices are dumped somewhere on an S drive or a V drive and not kept in any logical order, not kept easily searchable. Why not save them all into virtual cabinet? You can make a new cabinet called invoices if you want to. Also, you can apply a document retention policy to them. Why would you bother? You don't need to keep invoices for a certain length of time. But I go to clients and go, oh yeah, I've got invoices going back to 1978 or whatever. Why not say, right, we don't need to keep them for 5 years, and after that just destroy them because you don't need them anymore. So it keeps everything neat in your organization once you start to take the benefits of virtual cabinet. I mentioned multiple integrations. I just want to mention them again. We integrate with loads of systems. So again, CCH is your main system here. That's why you're all on here. Fantastic. If you use other bits of software that contain client information or produce documents, come and talk to us. We may be able to integrate with those too. Why we do it? Well, the whole thing that I talked about the webinar will be exactly the same reason why we would do with other bits of software that you use. And then, as I kind of mentioned, documents from other sources. If you're creating documents somewhere else, even if someone's just typing a letter, come and talk to us and see if we can find an easy way to save those into virtual cabinet. Why do you want to do that? Because then everyone within the organization, they're kept in one secure area. You've got one silo of information to go and manage your documents on, manage your retention policies, and cover yourself completely as well, and use virtual cabinet for what it's best for, which is managing all that documentation and managing that communication to and from clients, etc. Okay, this last slide is just to remind me to make sure I've covered everything, and I think I have. Thanks very much for all your questions. We are drawing to a close. I'll just have a quick glance now to see if there's anything else. Apologies for those people who asked for more detail on some stuff. I just haven't got the time. These are only supposed to be half an hour, and I'm 5 minutes over as it is. There's a couple of people started late, so just to say, please check your version of virtual cabinet. Support is changing for virtual cabinet. So you do need to be on a later version, otherwise you will lose support. We're having to be quite strict on that, but only because we're supporting people from on ages ago virtual cabinet versions that they haven't upgraded. It's free to upgrade. You can do it yourselves. Your IT can do it, or support can do it on your behalf. And the last bit is you need to be on the latest version 4.3 to be able to get the benefits of everything that I've shown you here, or some of the things I've shown you here. And that's it for me. That's a little picture of the account management team. We have had a change around of account managers, and we've moved some accounts around. So at some stage, people will be introducing you to introduce themselves. It might be new faces. Doesn't really matter. We're all still here. It's just that we've had a change around. Very much, everyone, and take care and have a great day. Bye bye.